one of the things that we're known for, and like I said, over the last year, we've been doing over 35 different events to,
Have I got a community events community before the events?
Yeah, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. But,
that's the joy of going live.
Well, you can see now some of the things that are coming up behind us are some of the things that we've been doing over the year. I don't think many members have realised that actually you can get in touch and tell us what you want to see. That's the beauty of it. So if you are struggling with something, let us know. We've got a great network of people that are able to, we can draw on and get them to come and talk to us. So we've got all sorts of stuff that's been happening.
And I think a great example of that is where we're using the community development is the current Agile Series.
Yes.
Where actually we set aside 6 events. And when we started, we didn't know, in true Agile fashion, didn't know what the last session was going to be. Absolutely. And as each group has come, they've decided on what the next session is going to be based on the conversations. And so that kind of super series is being absolutely led on a month-by-month basis by what the delegates or what the attendees are talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's been some of your first ones?
I see, I still like the book club, but that could always be kind of predicted. But do you know what's really interesting is we come in very open-minded to the books. We nobody kind of sends us a book and say, can you push the book there? It really is things that kind of we've come across and thought are useful. And it's always good to kind of go back and see what other people kind of take from those books and how it can be applied. And this, I'm always good for a book, so that's really pleased me. But I think the other one that I really enjoyed was because as we did the competency framework and some of the things and the conversations we had, people were really kind of challenging about whether the role of the PMO director really existed. And we actually managed to get somebody, Mitch Rollins, at the beginning of this year, who zoomed in from Australia, and we've got someone in from Australia this at lunchtime today.
Yeah.
He came in and it wasn't his first PMO director job, it was about his 3rd PMO director job. And it was just nice to have some of the kind of the work validated and for people to be able to ask questions about what that means. And I know certainly when I've spoken to a couple of people after that event, and one of the things Mitch was talking about is when he went in and was really kind of challenging during the interview about making sure he was going to get the support to do what he needed to do. And actually there's a few people who have reflected on that. And actually when they've gone and kind of tried to get things done in their organisation, they've kind of got a little bit more backbone because they actually recognise now that the role of the PMO manager, the PMO director is seen to add value and is expected to be, a contributing member.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the ones that I tend to do, which are the career hour ones, only because, obviously it's where I've come from in terms of my background after leaving PMO into recruitment and careers advice and stuff like that. But it just means that you can just dip into some all sorts of different stuff, really. And I think the one that's coming up, I think it's next week, is about networking that everybody hates. But
everybody needs to do it.
What we try to do with those sessions is just give you something very different. Maybe, I hope to spark, that's a surprise, or, I'm not really, never really come across that before. So they might feel like familiar themes, but the way that we tackle them might be a little different. And the other one, obviously, is the one that kind of takes a lot of my headspace, is a conference. We had the conference in November last year instead of June because of the pandemic and all that kind of good stuff. And as much as it is really stressful pulling something like that together, and I'm one of these people, Eileen, that I never used to have birthday parties when I was a kid. Not when I'm like little, I'm talking like in teenage years, scared to death that nobody's going to turn up. That's why I never had.
I did hear that at the conference sometimes.
Well, yeah. So it's that kind of stress thing that you just like, as much as I love it on the day, and yes, it's a lot of hard work, but I just think the amount of stuff that comes out of that event is brilliant. And,
and last year, one of my, I got really kind of quite full and emotional when we stood up it was the first time we'd done a kind of a PMO Learn, kind of a full day of learning the day before the conference. And after the pandemic and everybody being at home and not mixed, to have 100 people in the same room, and the energy was amazing through that whole piece. So looking forward to PMO this year as well, which is interesting because one of the problems that somebody's got is resource management, which is one of the things we kind of covered last year, and certainly some of the we'll be looking at again because it continues, and we've got some kind of there's a great speaker from last year's conference on resource management as well that we can can go and pull on.
So there is a method behind that agenda. I do try to pick things
absolutely
like people are going to enjoy listening to.
Would it be community focused, Lindsay?
Indeed. There you go, living the values.